All right, so my fellow New Englander.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about New England, huh?
Yeah. Let's do it.
What is your favorite Boston-based or Boston-influenced film?
Oh, this is such a hard question. You know what? This might be a really weird answer. I love Fever Pitch.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Love that movie.
That's a great movie.
I feel like it's almost underrated. My mom was an extra in that movie. So
I love that.
It's like a very vivid time in my life because my mom raised me, sending me to school by herself every day, doing my hair, and I was screaming. And I remember like my grandma had to do my hair for weeks, and it was the worst experience of my life because my mom was on set of Fever Pitch.
Oh, that's
and you can
cool.
see her vividly in the end, like right before what's her face, Drew Barrymore, like runs onto the field, and you could just see my mom like in an aisle seat, and I think I still have the
So
jersey
cute.
she wore as an extra in that movie, and I wear it to games sometimes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's my little personal connection to it. But I love Fever Pitch. I love Jimmy Fallon. I know a lot of people shit on him.
No,
he
see?
is so
he's
good.
Jimmy Fallon is the only of
the only
all of
one.
the night hosts.
Yes.
He is the only one that is entertaining and good.
I'm
you.
sorry.
The other
I
ones are
completely
so
agree.
opinionated. They can be such assholes. How much experience do you have in the other states in our beautiful region here? Have you spent time in Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut?
A lot of time in New Hampshire.
Okay.
I had an uncle that lived in New Hampshire, and growing up, we would always go there in the summer for barbecues, whatever.
Nice.
My best friend, Eric, lives in Salem, New Hampshire, which I feel doesn't even count as New Hampshire. But I'm always going to his house right over the border. It's right there. And my mom lives in New Hampshire with her boyfriend. So if I'm going up
Awesome.
there, I feel like New Hampshire is probably the one I have the most experience with. Rhode Island, I've only been to a few times outside of today, right now, to go to Newport
Yep,
for
there it is.
Dirty Water to film episodes.
single
Not Rhode Island. It's like, everyone just goes to
is it-
fucking Newport.
Oh, is it not? Is it not?
It
Am I-
is. It is.
But
It's like a joke that we say. And
Geographically,
honestly,
yes,
like I have a
in
lot
our
of
hearts.
people from Newport, but
Yeah.
it's just not a shared experience. Like Newport is its own world. That is honestly quite the problem here in Rhode Island is all of the
Yeah.
communities that we have. We all have our own living experience in our own town because there's too many towns, and we all think that, if you go to Cranston or Johnston, it's two very different, like that's like Little Italy.
Yeah.
And but Westerly, where we're from, is also another Little Italy, but it's also a competing Little Italy with North Providence.
We're definitely
and
more
then
of
like,
a better.
Irish people,
more
and then,
better. No.
it's all over the
Very
place.
overwhelming.
It's a lot.
And then the East Bay, like Newport, is like just very rich people who buy homes here.
A
so
lot of rich
they're from
people.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And then Bristol is like all, not all, but heavily Portuguese. So
Yep.
it's like, it's very, diverse, but
Melting
it's just
pot.
like, so Newport for us is like, you don't get it because you've got 46 golden bathrooms. You
Yeah.
don't understand what it's like to have a 3-bed and 1 bath that you share.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's kind of like the Cape, I guess, if you wanted to compare it to something.
Exactly.
Like, oh, Massachusetts, the Cape. That's all I think about.
Yeah.
It's like, that's, doesn't really count.
And it's a shared experience for me because, as you said, like palm trees and warm weather, like that's why I always say I did a small stint in Florida,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's where I have a majority of my family. I love
Yeah.
warm weather, so like I just,
can't
even though
beat it.
I've, kind of coined myself the New England guy. You have family, you've got friends, you've traveled.
Yes.
Do you have? And I'm interested to know your perspective, having worked with Dirty Water.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite New England food? Because there's a lot of foods based on the state, like lobster, clam chowder. Rhode Island, we've
This is
got
my
coffee
favorite
milk,
part of the podcast.
cabinets.
I'll take over now.
I don't.
This is a good chance to plug your second Instagram, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Hangry Cures,
Hangry
baby.
Cures.
I don't want to give the most basic answer, but it is Italian food. Are you mad at me for saying that?
No.
I love Italian food because it's how I grew up.
Yeah.
And I grew up basically going to the North End every single day because my dad's best friend is Nick Verano and his other best friend is Frank DiPasquale. So
Yeah.
it's like Frank DiPasquale and Nick. And we were always at their restaurants.
Yep.
Like even now I go there every single day, I feel like.
There's a few good ones in Rhode Island, but it's tough because our boy Chen's over here, Sunday dinners at his house when we were kids.
Oh.
His Nona, his mom, oh my
Chicken
God.
cutlets.
Straight off the boat, the
Couple
cutlets.
cutlets.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Tell me about
the
it.
meatballs.
Yes, my
die
nonna,
for.
my stepmom's mom, who is my nonna, her cutlets, I'll
Unreal.
put them up against anybody.
What's your background?
I'm Italian A little Irish and Dominican, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm a little spicy. The Dominican side. My dad was born in the DR.
Oh, very
actually.
cool.
Yeah, but we grew up mainly like Italian culture was my thing. I lived with my grandmother who was always cooking, and I grew up in a house that was like, if you're not eating what's on your plate, then you're gonna go to bed starving. I don't care. So
yeah.
I ate everything, and I loved food. Even I was a foodie from childhood. I never not liked anything. I was never picky. I never not wanted to eat vegetables. I loved everything. I loved steak. I loved it rare. I remember I'd get yelled at because I'd be like, more rare. And my grandmother's like, it's mooing. The steak is
The cow
mooing.
is in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'd be like, more. But yeah, New England food. Growing up, just going to the North End all the fucking time, and like my
North End Italian food.
Some of my favorite restaurants being there. Again, I know that's probably the most basic answer ever, but
No, that's good.
So
it's
off
just
that-
It's
my
your
favorite.
answer. It's your answer.
Off
Yeah.
that, cutlets or meatballs?
Cutlets.
Well, the right answer is you take a cutlet, you put meatballs on top of that, slap some cheese on it, and
Yeah.
then end it with it.
Yeah.
You're an animal.
know,
You
I
should
would
be.
do that. I love
You should be caged for that.
No, I would do that.
No, cutlets.
Sounds
Yeah, I'm big
fire.
with cutlets too. It's hard because growing up with him, he's known as his mom. The cutlets were unreal.
Should have brought you
They
some. I
were
made
so
some fire
good.
ones last night.
Where's
Why
the
didn't you bring 'em?
samples?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, what
why
the
didn't
hell?
you bring any?
Well,
Think.
I would have loved a cutlet.
Could you imagine?
is-
We're gonna have to.
If you presented me with a cutlet when I came in, I would have done a backflip, and I don't know how to do a backflip.
well, you brought us modern pastry.
I did.
Thank you very much. We're very spoiled. RJ's never had it before.
Yeah, my boyfriend Jake lives in the North End, which is perfect.
Nice.
That's the only reason I date him, actually. It's because he lives in the North End. No, it's great.
That's a great place to live.
Yeah, he lives like right above-ish Limoncello. He's
Ooh, nice.
right there. So
Awesome.
Yeah, our first date was in the North End. I think that's why it's all my family friends. Our first date. There's just so many special moments in the North End for me. So
cute.
that's why
That's great.
I
I love
love
that.
there. But I
That's
love
awesome.
cutlets. Cutlets are also great because you can grab and go. The amount of times I've taken my Nana's cutlets to work,
They're
I've
like
taken them on the
fingers food.
airport.
Yeah.
She's sent me back to California every single time with cutlets, and I'd
Yes.
be like, give them out to my roommates. I should have sold them.
Yeah.
I should have. I would have made a fortune. Now I'm thinking about
That's
that.
great.